Hello beauties, Shaz here with another to buy or not to buy. In these videos I talk about new makeup, mainly focusing on eyeshadow palette, which is my favorite part of makeup, and I will try to talk myself out of buying them. In the process, hopefully I can also inspire you to say no to as many of these things as you can. We don't need all of this makeup, we can dupe most of them. If that sounds good, go ahead and give a thumbs up and let's jump into the video. Beauties, I have some tea and the candle continues to be pumpkin spice, probably for the next many months to come. And I have my dupe of Artitude Cosmetics' palette. Metamorph or something like that is the name of the palette. I've duped it. I'm just gonna use this to make my look today. And without further ado, let's jump in. Let me get started with this one. One is Paradise Grove that is a little bit more green, and the other one is a little bit more pink purple called El Camino. From this photo, I'm not interested in either, and I don't think this photo is an actual photo. I think this is computer generated. I like to see actual photos with actual swatches and so on because I feel like the brands are doing themselves a disservice releasing a photo like this. This photo doesn't make me excited about either of these palettes. But beauties, I have used Gourmand Girls and I think they have pretty good quality on the one palette I've reviewed from them. Okay, now I'm seeing that they're saying there's actually going to be 3 palettes, but I've only seen 2 of them. So there probably is a 3rd palette somewhere. I just haven't seen a photo of it, but there's also this mascara that's releasing on the 13th. And also 2 new lip oils, and it says bundles galore. I don't know what that means, but at the moment, I'm not in the market for either of these things. I would like to see that 3rd palette. Let's talk about this one, Floating Lanterns Co. I feel like I recently talked about something else from them, and they're now doing these Surprise Shoddy, which are single eyeshadows. These kinds of colors, even from the swatches, well, first of all, they look duochromy. They don't look multichromy to me. And second is, you know, from this, it's very 2021. So I feel like I probably have dupe of these, maybe even better quality than the dupe of these. So, you know, for $11, no, $11 is too much for this. I would maybe pay $6, $7 for something like this. Moving on, we talked about Sinful Echoes last week. They're multichrome singles, and now they have also revealed a few other things. They have UV pressed pigments. These evidently from some reels that I've seen show up in dark light, like you can see them. The neon pressed pigments are $6 each. They also have gel liners for $14 each and a precision liner brush for $4. Frankly, that precision liner brush looks pretty nice. But I already, and precision liner brush is something I use, in fact, in my last to buy or not to buy you also, I used it. So I use that kind of a product a lot, but I'm not in the market for a brush. I have enough precision liner brushes. But if I were, that would be one thing I would be curious about. And I continue to be curious in the multichromes and sort of side-eyeing them. Continuing, we have Touch of Glam, sneak peeking What Are the Odds collection part 2 with this photo. And I like Touch of Glam. I do like a lot of the stuff that I've purchased from them, and they're pretty unique, but they're very pricey. I would not buy them full price. They usually have a 30% off sale here and there, so you could wait on the sale, but I would be curious because they do have a line of metallic multichromes that I purchased some years ago that I absolutely love. I've used it frequently in my duping, and because of that I am always sort of eyeing what they're releasing. So I would be curious to see what this is and sort of learn more about it, but I'm not going to go pick it up at launch. Very few things I'm going to pick up at launch nowadays because I want to wait for that Black Friday sale. I'm not in need for anything. I can wait for the Black Friday sale and buy things at a discount. Let's get started with Eye-cing. And now that I'm showing this, I am wearing, these are sort of US flag inspired nails. These are for support of Team USA. Go Team USA. Have you all been watching any of the Olympic events? I love watching gymnastics, so I'm like cheering Team USA, and I've been catching all the events today. And I can't wait for the few gymnastic events that are left. And while that's drying, let's talk about this next product. This is from Notoriously Morbid. I didn't talk about this last time, right? I don't know if this is a good enough photo, but a lot of shades in this palette look redundant to me. Even the swatches. This has to be a joke. There's no way that this is an actual palette with so many redundant shades. Also, this palette is $50. I feel like that's a little pricey for Notoriously Morbid. I mean, clearly not for me, because separate from the fact that it looks like this palette could be just 6 pans, I have so many dupes of exactly this. I don't see what's so special. I've heard amazing things about Notoriously Morbid palettes, but they need to do better photos. So Wicked Widow's Crow Collection's next pre-order has opened up again, and it's going to take 8 to 12 weeks for it to come. Now, fair that 8 to 12 weeks is going to put us around Halloween, and maybe this makes sense for it to be for that time of the year. But let's be done with pre-orders already. Let's talk about this one because Chantecaille. I know I talked about Chantecaille did something like this about a year, 2 years ago. I remember talking about it in one of my earlier To Buy or Not to Buys, where they literally take the most uninteresting palette and they slap a photo of this beautiful animal on it, and they try to sell the product. It's literally, I feel like that's animal abuse. Can I call that animal abuse? The poor animal that's going extinct is probably not even gonna see a single dollar that I don't know, $100 palette is gonna make. And I said $100, let's give them a break. This palette is only $78. It's not $100, friends. But the lipsticks are $54. And what is the difference between this and just any other lipstick? Oh yes, there is an image of a cheetah on it. I really want to know what percentage of this money goes to cheetahs. It says this helps support the Cheetah Conservation Fund. Yeah, I kind of want to bet that like $1 of that $54 goes to the conservation fund. Beauties, don't go buy these insanely expensive products with the hope that it's going to support animals or some nonprofit organization that you care about. If you want to give that nonprofit organization money, just give the money directly to that nonprofit organizations. Okay, enough of me going on a soapbox. Let's now talk about another extremely expensive product while we're talking about expensive products. Tom Ford Lip Collection. They're having 15 new shades. Very strategically, I don't have a price because I can guarantee you these are like in the same order as Chantecaille, like $50 something a piece. I don't need a $50 lipstick. Based on my research, lipstick is one of the easiest products to produce. Also, it doesn't have a lot of variety. One lipstick for $50 something is gonna just give me one shade, versus if I pay $50 something for a palette, I can get a few varieties of looks out of it. So $50+ lipsticks are so not worth it for me. In fact, even $20 something lipsticks are not worth it for me. The Sydney Race sale we talked about last week and the week before, it's still ongoing, and I think it goes for 3 or 4 more days. It goes on for 9 days, and it started on Monday, so it should go for 3 more days. They also have just introduced mineral foundation with 50 colors. Just FYI, I didn't know this is a new product for them, so they have this. And their regular price is $16 a piece, but it seems like during the sale they're going to be at $9. It also seems like during the sale they're going to have sample sets available if you don't know what your shade is. I remember using a lot of mineral foundation from Bare Minerals back in the day. You all remember those boxes with 4 different things in them with brushes in them? If you know, you know. And I still have some of those brushes. Yeah, this took me back to years ago. I hope I'm not aging myself, but excited to see more things come to Sydney Grace. Let's talk about this one, Samantha March's collab with Sigma Beauty. This collab is gonna have 5 products, the ones you see on the screen, and it goes for $68. Congrats to Samantha. Samantha has a very different color interest than I do. She's very much into nude colors, although she does do green every once in a while. But because this collection is a lot more on the nude side and I'm not, this is a no for me. But many congrats to her. I always say it's exciting to see collabs. And there is a collab that I want to talk about that I'm actually very excited about, and we're going to get to that soon. But let's get started with the look. Beauties, before I jump into the palette, these are shades that are substitutes for some of the shades that exist in the palette, and we will get to it. But that is the core dupe for the palette. And I'm going to try to use just these. I'm not going to use the substitutes. I'm going to first go into this shade. This is EO2 from Singe, which is one of my favorite brushes. This is going in my crease. Friends, while we're doing this, are you all interested in me when I dupe palettes? So just post a photo of the dupe and the dupe shades that I've used on Instagram. I know a lot of you all are not on Instagram because that's gonna not be that difficult to do. It's for me to communicate what dupes I'm using. It's a lot easier to do it on Instagram in a photo than to do it in a video where I have to like swatch everything and so on. I can still do the videos on YouTube, but I can also do that if you don't want to go through and watch a full video. And I'm using the same brush and the same shade to bring it under. I feel like doing an all matte look. How do you all feel about it? I was talking about how palettes inspire me just by looking at them in my last To Buy or Not to Buy. And this palette was one of those, when I saw it, I was like, I have to dupe this. Like, I just couldn't even wait. Now, with a flat brush, this one is EO4, I'm going to go into this pink one. And I'm going to diffuse it a little bit on my hand. And I'm going to use this to buff out these edges. And similarly, just bringing it under my lower lash line. Just a reminder, because this wasn't fully revealed last week when I made my To Buy or Not to Buy, and I feel like it kind of goes without saying. The Artitude Cosmetics is released, and now this is the whole collection. They've completely revealed it. The palette, the brushes, the highlighters, the sponge, and I still see a dropper. What is that? That bottle is a makeup mixing liquid. Maybe that's something that you use with the pigment. That's probably what it is. You use with pigments to make a pressed shadow if you want. That is actually something that I'm interested in, but I don't know if I want to buy it from a UK brand and then have to pay shipping for it to come to the US. This collection is already available, so if you're interested, you can go purchase it. And honestly, if you're interested, I understand, because I clearly was also interested. But of course I'm not buying because I've already duped it. Seems like they're also restocking a few left over of their past palettes. This might no longer be available, but just in case you were interested, go to their website. And now that I mentioned some restocks, Blend Bunny has also restocked All Done Up and Allure palettes, and they're both available at the moment. I mentioned that All Done Up looks like it could be a dupe for the new Barely Basic, the new Glaminatrix palette. I mentioned this last week, and I have both Allure and All Done Up. They're actually a good combo because they don't have any overlap, and I think they can be used together for making amazing looks. We've been talking about Beauty Moon a lot. They've had a few things, and now they're also announcing that on August 5th, they're gonna have 6 chrome liquid eyeshadows. These are gonna be $10 each. Did I talk about these? I don't remember talking about these. It seems like Beauty Moon is an English brand, so the prices are in pounds. So keep that in mind, because if you're ordering from another country in Europe, it might be more expensive for it to ship to the US. We talked about a sneak peek of this a few weeks ago, but I never talked about the reveal. And now we have the full reveal. This is All I Ever Wanted palette from Unearthly Cosmetics with 12 what looks like all sparkly shades. I can't tell if one of those yellows is a matte. I think they're all shimmer shades. And it says there are 11 new and 1 reformulated colors. So just keep that in mind. $90 for a palette to me seems insane. So clearly not for me. I'm also not excited about this color story. I feel like I'm not getting the shifts even in the projected image in the mirror. You know, if there's multichromes and so on, you should see that, and it doesn't look like there's a lot of shifts. So I can't quite understand the justification for it to be that expensive. If I had to guess, these are probably duochromes, and $90 for a bunch of duochromes? No, that is just not, that's not the kind of money I want to spend. Also, I'm not in it for all shimmer palettes. Although Unearthly Cosmetics on the positive side has magnetic pans, so you can probably pull these out. Or they historically had magnetic pans. I don't know about every single palette that they released. And we talked about some very expensive products, so let's also talk about these. A bunch of relatively colorful quads releasing from Tom Ford, and I'm excited to see colorful stuff released from these more high-end brands. But I can guarantee you I can't afford any of these, so continuing. And it's very strategic that I also don't have a price for these. They're trying to make sure I don't have a panic attack. It's Belle Cosmetics is sneak peeking something. So I'm looking forward to the reveal of that. I'm now using E05 and I'm going to go into this blue one. This blue shade and a few of the shades that I've used in this palette I picked from the all matte colorful palette from Colourpop. I forget the name of that palette. Those kinds of palettes, the large 30 pan palettes from Colourpop that have different kinds of colors in them, are ideal for using them for making custom made palettes. I'm just putting this in my outer V, as you can see, and it's such a pigmented and beautiful shade. As is expected from Colourpop, I'm now using, this one is Morphe M210, back into that blue, and I'm going to use it to just do my lower lash line. Okay, I am very much liking that. I kind of want to put some of that, or that. You know, I feel like if I put that one, it's too much. It's too much for the inner corner area. I told you all, it's going to be an all matte look. So I'm going to go with this one to diffuse it a little bit. Yeah, let's do the diffusion. With a packing brush, I'm going to go back into this, and this one was stained. The green stain on some of these white brushes just never goes away. I don't know what to do about that. And I'm just placing it here. Now this might have to be packed. Let's see. It's not showing up, so I'm going to use a little bit of specular. Hopefully this glitter glue is going to make it show up. So I'm just putting it here and trying again. Yes. Now I'm getting it to show. Okay, I think that is it. And now I am going to do the star of the show with a very pointy brush. I'm going to go into this one. This is, I think, Lightyear is the one that I've picked from Terra Moons. And this one has a beautiful green shift. And it's going to go in here. Okay, beauties, I think that's it from my eyeshadows. Let me go complete the look. I'll be right back. Okay, beauties, this is my completed look. And I'm very much enjoying it. As always, everything I've used is going to be in the description box below. Also, there's going to be a close-up reel of this look on Instagram. Now, let's get to the last couple of things that I want to talk about. First one is from Half Magic Beauty. They have sneak peeked that there is going to be something coming from them that's sparkly on the 5th of August, which might be the day this video goes up or the day after. So I'm excited to see what it is. And the second thing is what I'm very, very excited about. This is a collab between Makeup on Your Radar, which is one of the channels that I use for making these videos, and Dee Signature. So obviously I love to support Makeup on Your Radar because I have been using her channel, and then Dee Signature being a brand that I have been wanting to try for quite a while. And this is such an exciting and colorful collection. The collection is peacock inspired, and it truly shows in the palette color stories. It's gonna have 4 5-pan palettes. 3 of them are going to be super colorful with a mix of mattes and shimmers, possibly duochromes, and one of them is going to have 5 iridescent multichrome pans. I'm excited about these. I don't have a price, but this, I'm very, very intrigued by these. Do you all know if DD Signature pans come out, or are they magnetic? Because if they were magnetic, I would be like, I'm buying. I have no excuse. And you know what, beauties? I learned from swatches that DD Signature had posted that black matte shade is actually not black. It's a very deep blue, which made me think, I have no excuse. I have no excuse. Unless it's going to be super expensive, because I don't really have a price. But this is so intriguing. So I can't wait for more information. But that's it for today, beauties. As always, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel if you watched it this far and you're not subscribed yet. Don't forget to write to me in the comments below what makeup you managed to talk yourself out of buying this week, and what makeup you're actually excited about this week. I love you all. Have an amazing week, and until next time, bye.